Imagine hiding a part of yourself so completely, it leads down a path to, well, something truly awful. Today, we're sharing a story. It's a deeply unsettling true story that unfolded in Australia.
It involves a married couple. Their lives were just full of secrets, hidden struggles, and it all culminated in a tragedy that honestly left way more questions than answers.
Right. Our sources for this deep dive, they come mainly from a detailed video transcript. It helps us piece together, the puzzle of this really complex case.
It's a tough one. We're trying to unravel the lives of Marcus Wesson and Mayang Prasetyo, understand their backgrounds, their relationship, and the events that led to just a horrifying discovery.
Exactly. And to really get it, you have to understand their worlds first. They were quite different. Let's start with Marcus Wesson. Born, raised in Ballarat, Australia. To people who knew him, friends, family, he was polite, gentle, very respectful of women, loved animals.
Yeah, his family apparently taught him, that men should protect women, be the protector. And he seemed to be that person. People saw him as a real gentleman.
But that's the surface, isn't it?
Completely. Beneath that, Marcus has some significant emotional struggles going on. Highly sensitive, got stressed really easily, and he had these extreme emotional swings, like deep, deep sadness, then intense, almost manic happiness.
Did anyone notice?
Oh yeah. Friends and family saw it. They were definitely concerned about his mental health, but he never sought professional help, never went to see anyone.
That contrast is stark. This amiable guy on the outside, but turmoil inside.
It really points to maybe some kind of emotional dysregulation, not being able to manage those intense moods. And the fact he resisted help despite his family noticing, it's just maybe a fear of vulnerability or something he just couldn't face.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If his family pushed that protector ideal so hard, did it kind of backfire? Did it make him feel like he couldn't share weakness, couldn't admit he was struggling?
It's possible. His family background was comfortable, middle class. They ran a restaurant business.
And Marcus wanted to be a chef himself, right? Supposedly made great bone soup.
That's what the sources say. But here's where his choices really diverge from that stable background. Marcus lived this incredibly extravagant lifestyle. Overspent constantly, gambled, often just ran out of cash.
So how did he fund it?
Well, that's the big secret. To get the extra income, Marcus worked as a male escort.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And this was completely hidden. Family, friends, almost no one knew. It just shows this massive disconnect between the image he projected and his actual life. He built a whole facade.
Okay, so that's Marcus. Now, let's talk about Mayang Prasetyo. Her story is one of, incredible identity and resilience.
Absolutely. Mayang was born February Oriensa in Lampung, Indonesia, assigned male at birth, but from a very young age, she knew she was a woman. So throughout our discussion, we'll be referring to her as Mayang, using she, her pronouns, reflecting her identity as a transgender woman.
And her upbringing wasn't easy either, was it?
No, definitely challenging. Her parents separated. Mayang and her two younger siblings ended up being raised by their grandmother. As the eldest, Mayang took on a big caring role for the younger ones. She loved beauty salons, admired LGBTQ plus individuals. There was sort of role models for her.
But Indonesia at that time, it was a tough place for LGBTQ plus people.
Extremely tough. Identities like Mayang's weren't widely accepted at all, often seen as a mental illness that needed, quote, treatment.
So she had to be incredibly strong just to navigate that.
Immense strength. And her dream, since she was young, was gender confirmation surgery. But resources in Indonesia were scarce, almost non-existent for that.
So she looked elsewhere.
Yeah. She aimed for Thailand. It was known for skilled surgeons in that field.
The determination that must have taken.
Unbelievable. She worked hard, part-time jobs after high school, just saving every penny, then moved to Bali. Promised her grandma she'd stay safe, keep in touch.
What did she do in Bali?
Her first job was in a bar. It was a step, a step towards independence and becoming who she was meant to be.
And she eventually got to Thailand.
She did, in 2009. Had saved enough money, went for breast augmentation and gender confirmation surgery. And afterwards, sources say she felt incredibly proud, complete, like she was finally herself.
And her career after that?
It really took off. She thrived. Worked as a cabaret performer on cruise ships, did modeling for sexy magazines, and also worked as a high-end VIP escort.
A VIP escort? Earning a lot?
Apparently, yes. The source suggests figures around $15,000 an hour for VIP entertainment. A top earner.
Wow. And she supported her family with that?
Absolutely. That income became crucial for her family back home. She sent money regularly to support her grandmother, pay for her siblings' education. She really became the family's pillar.
Did her family know how she earned it?
Her grandmother was curious, naturally, but Mayang just said she had a good job, kept the details from them, likely to protect them.
So here we have these two people, Marcus and Mayang, both leading secret lives, driven by complex things, and they meet.
2013, it happened on a cruise ship. He was a chef, she was performing and escorting.
And the connection was instant.
Seemed like it. Immediate, rapid, almost like they recognized something in each other. Maybe the shared secrecy.
That makes sense. They could confide in each other about being escorts, something they couldn't tell anyone else.
Exactly. It created this initial bond. A deep understanding, maybe? But underneath that surface, there were other motives brewing. Ulterior motives on both sides.
Which complicated things, I imagine.
Definitely. It wasn't just about connection. It seems there was a transactional element right from the start.
What were those motives?
Well, for Marcus, it looks like he saw Mayang, this top earner, as maybe a solution to his financial mess, his spending, his gambling debts. He hoped she could help him out.
And for Mayang.
She wanted Australian citizenship. Marrying Marcus seemed like a path to that, a way to get a more secure future for herself and maybe continue supporting her family.
So practical goals hidden beneath the romance.
Pretty much. And how they handled family introductions really highlights the difference, the secrecy. Mayang was open. She took Marcus to Indonesia, introduced him to her family. Her grandmother apparently had some reservations but welcomed him. Cautioned him about Mayang's temper, but wished them well.
And Marcus, during this visit?
Very quiet, apparently. Which, in hindsight, maybe hints at the secrets he was keeping.
Because he didn't introduce Mayang to his family at all?
Not at all. Kept the relationship completely secret from them. Why? We don't know for sure. Maybe her being transgender, maybe her job. Or both of. He just never told them.
And then they got married.
Yep. August 2013. They were in Copenhagen, Denmark. Their cruise ship was docked there. They tied the knot. They quit the cruise ship jobs, moved to Brisbane, Australia to start this new life together.
Did they stop escorting?
No. They both continued. Worked at a place called Pressure Dome Brel. Marcus even had an alias, Heat XL. The source material also mentions, quite disturbingly, that he used a slur when describing how he catered specifically to transgender clients.
Right. So another layer to his hidden life there.
Yeah. And he kept his day job as a chef, too. So still juggling these public and very private realities.
It sounds like a fragile setup. When did things start to fall apart?
The cracks really started showing on October 2nd, 2014. It was a Thursday. Marcus apparently tried to bring a client back to their apartment. Mayang objected, said she needed the space.
What happened?
Marcus ended up having to take the client to a park nearby. Later, Mayang called him, and she was furious, yelling, swearing down the phone.
Could the client hear?
Oh, yeah. The client heard the whole thing. Marcus had to apologize, made up some excuse about a friend being angry because a dog wasn't fed. Just trying to cover.
And it escalated from there?
It did. Late that night, around 11:00 p.m., neighbors heard a huge argument from their apartment. They described hearing two male voices, one with a foreign accent, which they believed was Mayang's. It went on for about 40 minutes.
Did the neighbors do anything? Call anyone?
No. Apparently arguments from that apartment were pretty common, so they just didn't intervene. Assumed it would blow over like usual.
That's chilling, knowing what happened next.
Yeah, it really is. The normalization of conflict there. It had tragic consequences.
Because it didn't blow over.
No. Around 2:00 a.m., early Friday morning, October 3rd, the fighting started again. Woke the neighbors up again. This time they clearly heard Mayang yell out, "You are so stupid!"
And then?
Then multiple loud screams. Just screams. Followed by silence.
Chilling. Complete silence.
Complete silence. And again, the neighbors just assumed the fight was over. Went back to sleep. It's hard to fathom, but that's what the reports say.
So disturbing. When did the first real alarm bell ring for anyone outside the apartment?
Later that afternoon, Friday afternoon, a neighbor noticed the smell. A strange, foul odor near Marcus and Mayang's door.
What did they think it was?
Initially, they just thought maybe Marcus was cooking something unusual or maybe burned something. He cooked a lot. The neighbor even sprayed some air freshener in the hallway. Dismissed it at first.
But Marcus was doing other things that afternoon, wasn't he? Things that look very suspicious now.
Extremely suspicious. Around 6:00 p.m., CCTV footage caught him on an errand. He went to a convenience store and bought gloves, bleach, cleaning supplies, wet wipes, rope, tape, plastic bags, all of it.
That's a list.
A very specific list. And weirdly, he took a taxi. even though he owned a car.
Where did he go after the store?
He went to the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital, claimed he'd hurt his hand, said he was trying to wrestle a knife away from his girlfriend during a fight. His hand was roughly bandaged already. Hospital staff treated him, unaware of the real context.
Unbelievable. And the smell.
By the next morning, Saturday, October 4th, the smell was overwhelming. No dismissing it now. It was clearly coming from Marcus's apartment, and it was horrific.
Did anyone confront him then?
Yes. A concerned neighbor finally asked Marcus directly about the terrible smell.
What did he say?
He stuck to the cooking story, claimed he'd burned some bone soup, and he said Anayang was just out running errands. A really flimsy excuse by this point.
The dread must have been building.
Palpable. Then that evening, Saturday, around 6:30 p.m., Marcus called an electrician. Said he had problems with his oven.
An electrician? Why?
Unclear, maybe a distraction. But when the electrician arrived, the smell hit him immediately. It was horrific.
Did Marcus explain it?
Same story. Burnt bone soup. The electrician even made a dark joke, apparently, asking if it was pork bone soup or dog bone soup.
Grim. What did the electrician find?
An issue with an electrical panel, but it needed the landlord's permission to access. Marcus tried really hard to stop the apartment manager from coming over, but she insisted.
And the manager came.
She did, and her instincts were sharp. She walked in, noticed immediately the apartment was unusually clean, cleaner than her previous visits.
Suspiciously clean.
Exactly. As she got near the kitchen, the stench was just unbearable. Then she saw them. Brown stains on the floor. Looked like blood.
What did Marcus say?
Claimed it was his blood from the fight where he hurt his hand.
Did the manager buy it?
She played it cool, pretended to tie her shoelace, bent down, and secretly snapped photos of the stains with her phone. Incredible presence of mind.
Wow.
Then she made her excuses and left. As soon as she was out, she called the police.
Finally. When did the police arrive?
Around 9:00 p.m. that night, Marcus was visibly startled when they showed up asking about Mayang's disappearance.
What was his story then?
He claimed they'd had a fight and she'd gone back to Indonesia.
Didn't the police believe him?
They wanted inside. Marcus tried to stall, said he needed to put his dog away first. The police waited outside.
But he didn't come back out.
No, he didn't reappear. So the police forced the door open.
And what did they find?
They found Marcus had jumped out of a window. He'd fled.
And inside the apartment?
The smell led them straight to it. Inside the washing machine, a large bag containing human remains.
Oh my God.
And in the kitchen, a pot still on the stove. Inside were human legs. Hacked, chopped up, bleach had been added. Just an absolutely horrific, depraved scene.
Unimaginable.
Forensic tests confirmed the remains were Mayang's. The police used a canine unit to track Marcus.
Where did they find him?
They found him nearby, deceased. He was inside a large garbage bin. Some reports say he died by slitting his own throat.
So both dead? A murder-suicide?
That's how it appears. A truly tragic, horrifying end for both of them.
Which leaves the question, why? With both of them gone, the exact motive died with them. But there are theories, right?
Yes. Police and friends offered some possibilities. A major one centers on Marcus's fear of exposure. Neighbors reported hearing Mayang threaten him. Threatened to reveal his secret life as an escort. Reveal their marriage to his very conventional family.
And given his instability, his fear of disappointing them.
Exactly. That constant threat, that pressure, it might have just pushed him over the edge. Friends confirmed he felt immense pressure from family expectations. The facade was everything.
So the fear of the truth coming out might have been the trigger?
That's one strong theory. Another came from Mayang's friends. They suggested she was unhappy in Brisbane.
Unhappy at what?
She wanted to go back to Indonesia, be closer to her family. But Marcus allegedly wouldn't let her. He was possessive, controlling.
So her wanting to leave could have sparked that final fatal argument.
It's another plausible scenario. Adds another layer of conflict to their already strained relationship.
The aftermath must have been devastating for both families.
Absolutely immense grief. Marcus's family expressed deep sorrow. They said they were always open-minded, a safe zone for him. They regretted desperately he never felt he could come to them for help. They also sent condolences to Mayang's family.
In Mayang?
Her body was returned to Indonesia. There was a large ceremony for her on October 31st, 2014, marking the end of her journey, which started with so much hope and resilience. Just utterly tragic.
It's a story that just stays with you. These silent battles people fight, hidden away.
Yeah, what this whole case really shows, I think, is how maintaining that facade, Marcus's fear, Mayang's struggle for her own life, it created this intense pressure cooker. Secrets festered, and the pressure just exploded into violence.
It really highlights the devastating consequences when people feel they can't be honest, can't be vulnerable, maybe because of societal pressure or family expectations.
When communication just breaks down completely.
So, thinking about it all, what layers of pressure, personal or societal, do you think really pushed the situation to such a heartbreaking outcome? You had Marcus, trapped by his secrets, terrified of disappointing his family.
Right. And then you had Mayang, who fought so hard to become her true self, only to find herself in this relationship where her identity, her independence, maybe even her desire to go home, became flashpoints for conflict.
It's that collision, isn't it? The pursuit of an authentic self hitting against this desperate need for control, for secrecy.
Exactly. And it leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What other hidden battles are being fought right now, behind closed doors, completely unheard?
A really sobering thought. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into what is, frankly, a truly disturbing story. We hope it's given you something to reflect on.
And if you want to explore more complex stories like this one, please do check out our past deep dives here on Horror Docs.
Yes, please do. And don't forget to like this video, share it if you found it compelling, and subscribe to Horror Docs for more content.
Until next time, please take care.